In this chapter, we're going to start getting into the functions we'll need for working with visual outputs like graphics and images. We'll learn how to create and use colors within Wolfram Language and using the graphics framework to design visuals. We'll also look at built-in functions that help us create randomness in our outputs. When we're working with colors in Wolfram Language, we've got a good starting point with the built-in color options. Not only do we have colors beyond the standard rainbow selection built in, but also pastel versions of all the colors. We can call colors by using the name of the color, though as you can see from these lists, we don't have every single color name built in. We can call red and get the color internally saved to red, but we don't have a built-in maroon or vermilion or other less common color names. To get the other shades, we can use the function RGB color, which takes a list of the red, green, and blue values to combine it to the output color. You might be familiar with RGB color if you've worked with other kinds of digital design. We also have the function hue, which is a little less flexible, but gives us the colors around the color wheel. We can input a number between 0 and 1 into hue, going from red at 0 through orange and yellow, green, blue, and purple, and looping back to red at 1. If we're sticking to grayscale, we can also use the function gray level. Gray level works similarly to hue, but instead goes through the various gray tones between black at 0 and white at 1. We also have a selection of functions to modify existing colors. Gray level can not only be used to generate a gray color from a value, but also to find the gray level of a color like magenta. The functions lighter and darker let us shift a color value without needing to alter all of the RGB values ourselves. Unlike the first three functions here, blend takes in multiple colors and combines them, so we can use blend to combine red and yellow to get orange. Another useful function is color negate, which gives the opposite value of a color. One of the big use cases for colors is within graphics. We use the function graphics to build up a visual output with different components like text or shapes. We not only have built-in colors, but we also have some built-in shapes that make it easy to get started putting together our graphics. If we only have one thing we're using within graphics, we don't need to put it inside a list, but almost always you'll have more than one thing. In that case, we need to make sure we give any graphics components within a list. So let's say we want to create a red triangle. We need to, within graphics, put a list with the color red and the function for creating a triangle. Building up this list, we can create more and more complex graphics. We can give graphics multiple different shapes, different colors for each shape, and within the shape functions, we can give specifications like size or position. One thing to keep in mind when working with graphics is that things are created or used in order, including colors or other styling options. So, if we want to add a blue disk to our red triangle, we need to first specify that we're changing the color to blue, and then add our disk to the list. If we do it in the reverse order, graphics will use red for both the triangle and the disk. Right now, we're just scratching the surface of what you can do with graphics. To cover a few more things we can do, we can create unnamed shapes with the function polygon, where we provide the vertices for the unnamed polygon in order of how they're going to connect. Including shapes, we have other graphics objects like point and line. A lot of functions within Wolfram Language not only have arguments, but also options. Options have default values, but we can change what values are used for an option. For example, graphics has a ton of options, including one for background. If we wanted to change the background from the default, we use graphics. We write out our arguments like normal. Then, before the ending square brackets, after our regular arguments, we add in our options. We indicate options with the name of it, in this case background, and then an arrow and what we want to set that option to. You can write the arrow by using a dash and then a greater than sign. The notebook interface will automatically make it into a nice looking arrow. Moving on from graphics, let's quickly talk about randomness at the end of this chapter. There's more functions for getting random outputs for different types of data than we can cover here. We've already seen the function random color in a previous section, and there's similar random functions for integers, real numbers, polygons, words, and more. One slightly different but useful random function is random choice, which randomly returns one item from a list of options. So let's say we wanted to get a random color, but only from a list of specific colors. We could use random choice to get that random decision from the list for us. We've gotten a good start into working with visual outputs in this chapter. You can now call colors in a variety of ways, either with color names, RGB color, or hue. You've also seen how we can build up complex graphics starting from a pretty simple base by listing out the components and their styling. We've also touched on how we can easily complete computations with randomness using built-in functions for different data types, or making selections from a list with random choice.